Hey guys, how are you? Figured I would come on here real quick and just go over this survey or this poll that I actually released as a post. And this was probably a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. And I just wanted to briefly share with you all to, you know, just let you know my thoughts on it. Some of it is based on experience. Some of it is, all of it is, well, really is based on my observations. I'll say that. Okay. So I appreciate you all watching, and let's just get straight to the question that I asked. So the question was, what's the main thing that discourages you from either getting a guitar instructor? I meant to write getting a guitar instructor, joining a guitar community, or teaching yourself guitar. The answers that I had were, it's intimidating, I'm shy, it looks too hard. That was one thing. I don't have time. That was the next one. It's too late for me. And the last one is, I'm afraid of failing at it. Now, I'll say for starters, no one chose I'm afraid of failing at it. That's a good thing. I'm happy no one chose that. Now let's go to the other three. It's intimidating, I'm shy, or it looks too hard. That was 36% of everyone who answered. And by the way, this is 11 votes. So it wasn't like a significant number, but I still found the answers to be pretty interesting, or the votes to be interesting. Anyway, it's intimidating, I'm shy, it looks too hard. That was 36%. My thoughts on it being intimidated, and really all of these, it's really all in your mind. Okay. It's very easy to see another person playing guitar, and maybe they're in a place to where they're like pretty advanced. And I don't think we really think about, like, this person sat down and put the time in. Okay. They actually sat down, put the time in. They did it over and over. And they probably did it, in their room, or, maybe someone showed them or whatever, who knows. But a lot of repetition got them to where they are able to do what they do, whether it took them a year, 5 years, whatever, however long it took them. They repeated it over and over and over, probably by themselves or whatever. And then they became more confident from doing it. And they were definitely not confident at first. So keep that in mind. It's intimidating, I'm shy, not to downplay, a person's feelings about playing guitar. Mind you, I thought that it was intimidating. I used to be shy. Okay. As far as it looks too hard, I do have a way of gravitating to things that look hard to me and trying to like conquer it. I have that way about me. So that's, a thing. So, at least that's the way that I look at things. Sometimes I like to know for myself that there's nothing that I can say that is hard to me by actually doing it and proving myself wrong, something like that, or proving myself right, rather. So let's go to the next one. I don't have time. I'll just say this real quick. So you don't have 15 minutes a day, or to start, 15 minutes every other day to start. And my guess is that's not true. It is not true that you don't have time. Not to downplay your vote. Now, I do want to acknowledge that sometimes it takes a minute for us to, like, say if we go to work and we're finally home, we're done, and we need time for our brains to kind of turn work off. You know what I'm saying? Some of us think that way, and we just need a minute, and by that time we're sleepy, so sometimes that's what we qualify as time. Or maybe you have kids and you're spending time with kids, with your kids. I don't want to downplay that one bit. Or maybe you have a long commute from work to home. There are all sorts of things that we can come up with. But I'm going to say this: don't be the person who comes up with excuses, and don't be the person to put something in place to come up with, like, not only do you come up with the excuse, but you stuff your schedule with stuff just to say that you don't have time for something creative. Some people do that. Some people take pride in being busy and always having something to do. And that's not always a good look. You don't have like 1 hour for yourself, like just for yourself, just to do nothing. Love yourself. Give yourself enough love to, take an hour to do nothing or to think about nothing. But I've seen plenty of people, maybe not plenty, maybe like a handful, they, on their lunch break, they use some of their lunch break as like time to eat lunch, but they also have their guitar with them, and they just practice a few scales in their car or something like that. And that's all the practice, all the time that they feel that they have. And trust me, there are ways to make more time, but at least they do that. And guess what? They get better. And guess what? Sometimes they're by themselves, and it's enough to excel, or it's enough to grow at it at first, to figure out what steps you want to take next, to figure out how you want to, like, maybe increase it to 20 minutes, or maybe not increase it to 20 minutes, but figure out some other, maybe you want to do another pocket of 15 minutes, like when you get home, in addition to the 15 minutes at work on your lunch break. So it's not true. Everybody who wants to learn guitar has time. We all have time. Nobody is doing any one thing for 24 hours straight in a day. And that is extreme, but I don't want to talk about that no more. It's too late for me. Okay. If you're dead, it's too late for you. That's all I have to say about that. I don't want to sound insensitive, but I will say this though. We forget that time is going to pass anyway. If you said that it's too late for me 10 years ago, and then you said it's too late for me 9 years ago, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 years ago, that time passed anyway. And had you tried the first time you said it's too late for me, you would have been much further along. So sometimes we have to just start. Just start. Don't have any particular expectation for yourself. Just do it for fun. Learning guitar is great for memorization, fine motor skills in your hands, a creative outlet. It's actually like a great icebreaker, or conversation starter, or it's great for some people's confidence. It's a great way to develop transferable skills, because when people feel like they can't accomplish something, they want to find something that's not associated with the thing that they're not good at to get a little bit good at, so that they can be confident at the thing they're not good at, and they can transfer the discipline from what they're learning on the side. And pretty much, like, say for instance, you got to be consistent. You have to have some level of consistency, even if the consistency is, it doesn't have to be every day, but let's go back to the 15 minutes every other day. If you're consistent at 15 minutes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and those are your days, no matter what you do, 15 minutes on those days, that's enough to start. Of course, you're going to have to work on either increasing the time or making that 15 minutes more effective. You somehow got to make it count. Okay. So, I don't want to, say anything that is really harsh, but, I decided to ask this question because really all of these, it's intimidating, I'm shy, it looks too hard, or I don't have time, or it's too late for me. All of that is in your mind. I don't know everybody's profession. And maybe, again, I don't want to sound insensitive. One person in one of the guitar threads that I read has 3 fingers that were chopped off. Okay. But they're still trying to figure out how to play the guitar. I mean, they have some of it is chopped off. They're still figuring out how to try to play. I mentioned before, there's a guy, I forget his name. Maybe I'll share the video and put it in the timestamp, or put it in the link, the cards up above on the top right hand side. He plays with his feet. Now, I'm not suggesting that anyone play with your feet, or whatever, but I'm just saying, you should really maybe not fight for it, but some of us forget that we were once kids, and we were once free thinkers and creative, and used to be very curious. I'll say fight for your curiosity. And guitar, learning an instrument, helps you to do that. It helps you to get back in touch with that child who was curious, not only curious about the guitar, but curious about can I do this? Can I get better? If I do this and I practice it 5 times or 10 times or 100 times, what would it look like the 100th time after starting and then getting to the 100th time? What kind of progress would I make? And after I do it 200 times and 300, what would that look like? Versus sitting back, not doing it, not being curious about it. I really feel like that is a waste. I feel like that's a waste. I am someone who, I don't want to look back at life and say, I wish I would have tried, or I wish I would have done it. At least I can say that, I got it. I sat down with it. I started out with 2 notes and started building on the 2 notes at a time. That's how I started. And I didn't even do 15 minutes. Maybe it would be in a commercial break while watching TV, or maybe it's when I get home from work and I have the guitar on the side of my bed, and I pick it up for 5 minutes just to get a feel for it at first. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I do that every day when I get home from work. And I'm not expecting a lot from myself. I'm just kind of fiddling with it. And then I just put it back down. But if I do that every day, it can grow. Or whatever, meet up with somebody else who is learning and do a bunch of stuff that I'm messing up at, whatever. I mean, I've done combinations of those different things. But what I would also say to close out is that I did one more survey actually. And this is going to be a quicker talking point. And the question was, I'm usually getting feedback from my guitar audience because what's important to you is also important to me. And I asked, which option do you feel is most effective as it relates to learning guitar? Feel free to comment as well. And the answers were getting a private guitar instructor. The next one is join a guitar community. The last one is teach yourself guitar. And there were more votes. On this. About double the votes. 63% chose getting a private guitar instructor. 25% chose join a guitar community. And 13% chose teach guitar to yourself. And I will say this. These are all in people's minds. Okay. You know, they answered based off of their experience or based off of their own thoughts. I wonder if the people who chose getting a private guitar instructor, if they've ever had a private guitar instructor, I wonder. Teaching yourself can be effective, and that works for some people. That was actually some of my journey. But I'm just kind of like, I teach myself stuff. This is kind of what I do. Joining a guitar community. Here's what joining a guitar community can do for you, even if it's not mine. You know what I'm saying? It's not really about that. It's not about joining my community. Number one, I am a private guitar instructor. So if you join a guitar community that has a private guitar instructor, you get the best of both worlds. Isn't that like a no-brainer? That's like a no-brainer, right? There's this thought that community can paint the picture that, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be corrected by people who are further along than I am. Okay, you can look at it that way. But in my experience, here's what I've learned. First of all, there are some very stingy musicians out there, I will say that, who don't want to show you anything. They want to hoard all the information and they just want to know it for themselves and that's it. But I think that it's pretty cool when you're around other guitar players who are also learning guitar and that they're excited to show you. They're excited to help you. And maybe they can say it in a way that I can't say it. Maybe they can show you and say it in a vernacular or vocabulary that you can understand versus how I say it. That's the benefit of a community. A lot of times we want to do things on our own. Anytime you do things on your own, you're slowing yourself down. Whenever you want to become something, it's best that you're around other people who are doing the same thing. There are things that being in a community of whatever can teach you that a guitar a guitar instructor cannot teach you. The guitar instructor can teach you the information. But it's also the feeling of being around other guitar players that makes you more confident. In some things you will see a guitar player do or hear a guitar player do, and just by being around them, you can see what they're doing and you pick up on it. And that was the lesson. Now, I don't want to knock private guitar instructors. Like I said, I'm one. So I'm not knocking that. I do think that is effective. But some people who wanted the private guitar instructor, they thought they wanted the rigor, and they thought they wanted the schedule, like the schedule and the structure. And I think that is good. But things can get a little redundant with just the one person, just you and the one person. And I think that has its space, that has its place, that has its time. And it is effective for what it is. But in between time, having a community that you can say, hey man, I was trying this out. What did you do to learn this? There's nothing like having, a community that you can just bounce ideas off of, or that you can be inspired by, or that you can feel that this person is not so far removed from where I am. And that just feels better for me. Y'all might feel like I'm a little too far removed because it's been X amount of years since I first started. Okay. So this goes for, if you want to be a car salesman, do you just go sell cars? No, you get around other car salesmen. You might have one mentor, but you get around a group of guys or a group of women or a group of people who do that. In order for you to get good at it, in order for you to become it, you hang around other salespeople, car salespeople. If you want to become a lawyer, you don't just get in the books and study. You might just by yourself, you might get a little bored. You would know the information, but when it comes to all the nuances, you got to get around other lawyers, like a group, and they can talk about their experiences and they can talk about what they learned about doing this and the outcome of that. And you can avoid a lot of mistakes by doing that. So community is like the glue of whatever it is that you're wanting to accomplish. Not glue. I'm trying to sound deep, I suppose, but when you're around people who are wanting to accomplish the same thing, it makes it a lot more possible for you to accomplish that thing. It makes you just a little bit, maybe 10% more. It makes you feel like doing it a little bit more. It makes you avoid excuses just a little bit more. When you're by yourself, your mind will come up with all types of things. Okay. And I realize that some people are introverts, and some people, they just don't want to be around people. I get that. And everyone does have a different learning style, but some people don't know what they don't know as well. And they don't know, they've never even tried. They've never even given themselves a chance to just be in the mix a little bit. Even though in the future, I'm having guitar meetups and things like that. This is basically a virtual atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So you're not physically with other people, but you don't have to comment. I encourage you to. I encourage you to ask a question. You don't have to, but I'm just saying, you're kind of just there, and you're just, that other people have accounts as well and all that other stuff. So I would encourage you, not just for the sake of me being your guitar instructor, but for the sake of staying curious, for the sake of just being active, creatively active, for the sake of songwriting and playing chords and all that other stuff. definitely consider making me your guitar instructor, your guitar community leader, your teacher who shows you how to teach guitar to yourself. Okay. So I hope that this was a little bit of inspiration, and yeah, just know, like, all of those answers that I read is, especially the first four, like the first survey that I told you about. If y'all go to my post, my community post, you'll see it. All of that stuff is in your mind. But when it comes to learning guitar, sitting, going through YouTube, piecemealing everything, you're going to slow yourself down. But some people want to do that. Some people want to do stuff the harder way, and they want to, they get a rush off that. But just know it don't have to be that way. So I can help you, and right now is a good time to do it, because, you know, there aren't many people in the community yet. There are some, but not many. And you kind of got me all to yourselves right now. So if you, I mean, when there are more people, let's say hundreds of people by that time, even though you will still have access to me, you may not have as much access to me in the same way. But either way, I still look forward to teaching you all on a closer, closer proximity. And hopefully I'll get to meet some of y'all face to face. Hopefully I'll have enough community members to where I can come to your city and do some in-person jams. All right. That's what I look forward to. And that's what I envision. But you got to be in the community. You got to be in it. Okay. And so I'm not going to say anything else. I've rambled too long. But I appreciate you for listening either way. And check y'all out. And let me do my little thing. Subscribe and all those other things. Those of you who are listening on the podcast, some of my episodes I upload on my podcast, the Guitar Players Club podcast. So stuff that has a lot of charts, maybe not that, but things where I'm talking, yes, that. All right. Love y'all. Peace.